Hi there, this is Eshu. I'm the abbot here at Zenwest Buddhist Society. This Living Zen-podcast is just one of the many resources we've created at Zenwest to make Zen practice and training more available and accessible to people all over the world. Instructional videos, printable resources, and much, much more are also available on our website at www.zenwest.ca. If you're a regular listener, I'd love to hear from you. So please drop me an email at office@zenwest.ca and let me know who you are, how you got started, and what brought you to Zen. Everything we make available in person and online at Zenwest is only possible because of the support of our members and associates, people like you. If the efforts of our community are making a difference in your life, I'd like to invite you to show your support and take part in making it happen by becoming an associate or member of the Zenwest Sangha. You can do this by clicking the Join Us tab on our website at www.zenwest.ca. Thank you for your support, and thanks for listening. Over the past few weeks, I've just been reflecting on some of the changes that have been taking place around Zenwest. It may be the case that they're difficult to perceive, perhaps, for people who aren't involved all the time or aren't participating in all the various activities that we engage in. But there has been some subtle shifting that's taking place in our community. The resources that we've developed over the years, human and sort of spatial or environmental resources, have been developing and to some degree coming to fruition. And that's allowed kind of a cellular division to start to take place. I'm sure some of you are very much aware I haven't been coming down as much to Tuesday evenings to give the talks. But this is largely because the Tuesdays are well looked after. We have Reverend Osho, who this summer became a Zenwest priest. And we have Reverend Kosen, who became a junior priest this summer. We also have a really well-developed group of practitioners, a significantly large group of experienced practitioners who can put this room together, create and hold this space for newcomers and people who are coming out to investigate and explore this practice. And this is a crucial element of our Sangha. But particularly recently, with the news, I don't even need to be specific anymore, like with the news, it becomes really clear that the need for this practice has never been more needed. People come to this practice for all kinds of reasons. They hear that meditation is good for you. Even in the time that I've been practicing here in Victoria, the way that meditation has been perceived has changed drastically. It's gone from being this really fringy, weird, cultic thing to being something that's being pushed in everything Forbes, Wired, every health digest that you can imagine. Meditation is a good thing. Reduces your blood pressure and helps you deal with anxiety and makes you more productive and more creative and all of these kinds of things. So people come to practice for all of those reasons. We want to be a little bit less anxious, be a little bit more productive, be a little bit more healthy. And all of these things are really admirable. And this is why we create this space so that people can come and explore this practice. But there's more to it than that. Buddhism, the Buddha didn't leave home and shave off his hair, take up rags for robes, renounce his crown and his family to deal with a little bit of anxiety or depression or become more productive. The Buddha sought to liberate, discover a path that led to liberation from suffering. And this is the basis of our practice today. We can create massive transformation in our lives just by doing a little bit of practice, just a little bit. Some people, for many of you, perhaps, the only time that we do this practice is on a Tuesday evening. Come out and do this practice together in this room. And as we sit in the circle afterwards, many people talk about what a wonderfully transformative impact that this, even once a week sitting, has. They're more clear and more relaxed, they sleep better, all kinds of things. And again, this is wonderful. But my question is always, so why do we stop? Why is it only once a week? Why is it that in spite of concrete experiential evidence, why do we hold back, limit our practice? So the opportunity that we are starting to be able to offer is more practice. It's very difficult for us to really transform our lives in the midst of the structures of our lives that we have around us. We have immersed ourselves in what we call ourselves, which is a construct of our habits and our ritualized activities that we've set up for ourselves in the midst of our relationships, in the midst of the commitments that we've taken on. And we have very little sort of wiggle room for transformation in these things. We find even when we resolve to do something, I'm going to stop eating this, or I'm going to stop drinking that, or I'm going to stop watching this on television, we find that when we're immersed in that sort of same life, it requires a huge amount of momentum to even commit to that for a day or a week. And pretty soon we find that we're right back where we started, because it's just much easier to allow the wheels to get back into the old familiar rut. Our practice, our meditation practice, offers us some small refuge. We come out and do our sit, and for a day or 2 days, our resolve seems to be strengthened. Our anxiety seems to be diminished. But a lot of the time, we don't really change much. We don't transform. We just kind of medicate with our meditation. And again, this is okay. When I started getting involved with Zenwest, when I started getting involved with Zen practice, I just sort of threw myself into it and wanted to see, how far does this go? How far does this change? How far does this benefit? How far does this transformation go? The other question that I became very interested in is, where does this difficulty, where does the anxiety, where does the depression, where does the hatred and ill will and war, where does it come from? Zen practice wasn't built around making us feel better in the lives that we have. It wasn't built to make us feel better about the deals that we're making in our job or the things that we're saying or doing in our relationship. It's a practice that was aimed at plunging into the depths of this question of, where does this come from? From where? What is the source of this difficulty, of this dukkha, this dissatisfaction, this suffering? And it's actually very good at exposing this. But the truth is that to expose this is to expose ourselves, to expose the origin of difficulty, of our anxiety, of our depression, of our suffering, is to expose ourselves to our very core. For it is in the nature of this thing that we call a self that we find the origin of suffering. This isn't a hobby, I guess I could say. This is a difficult subject matter. And for many years, the practice of engaging in this was not open to lay people. It was not open to people who weren't going to throw themselves at it, body and mind. But as practice developed, this practice was seen to be beneficial. And I think that many people, when we come to practice, we have this spirit. Usually people come to practice, this is really boring stuff. So we have to kind of be facing a wall when we come here. We have to have sort of hit the limit before we're willing to sit and look at the carpet and think, oh, this might help something. But often what happens is that as we sit, some of the sort of superficial anxieties and issues and problems are resolved. We get some clarity in them. We apply ourselves strongly, sometimes with strength. We do sessions and we get really into the dark material. And it provides some real relief in our lives. But we also get easily distracted. And soon we're just happy to sit. Happy to sort of be where we are. And the motivation or the interest in getting to the bottom, getting to the root, evaporates. It's okay. But I'm very happy to say that our community creates a space and is literally creating a space for people who want to immerse themselves in this investigation. Who want to, for a period of their lives, take up this practice with their body and mind wholeheartedly, breaking themselves out of relationships, commitments, habits, familiar environments, and immersing themselves in an environment and a relationship which is pointed solely at getting to the root of this great matter. It's not for everybody. Nor do I think it really has to be for everybody. But when I come down to the Tuesday sit, and when we have people who are participating in this kind of practice, I think it really helps us all, reminds us all that this is a door that's open to us all the time. It's not even something that you have to go out and live in suk and engage, shave your head and engage in this. The tools that you're using right now in meditation are the same tools, but we have to remember to use them. It's like the metaphor I often use is like, you've got a samurai sword and you're like buttering your toast with it, right? Once in a while you have to remember that you can do a lot more with this. Or maybe a better example would be like a surgical scalpel that you're using to spread your peanut butter with. Once in a while, it's good to remember that this tool that we have can cut deeply, can expose right to the bone, right to the very foundation. So really the only point of my talk this evening is to really impress upon you, remind you, that this Sangha that we have, this community that we have, has space for everybody. Not only does it have space for everybody, but it relies on everybody. Even if it's your first time, even if you're just checking this out, having a place in this community that supports all of the other aspects of the community. It offers an opportunity for people who have been practicing for a long time to turn around and share this practice. The resources that are created by having this Sangha, having this diverse Sangha, are what has allowed us to build a hermitage, to support a teacher that allows the time and the space and the environment for people to come and do this practice full time. And this is a tremendous thing. Each of us shares in the responsibility of building this, of creating this, of sustaining it. I think I'm probably way over time. So, this is what happens when I get stuck out on the mountain for too long. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for listening to the Living Zen podcast. If you follow Living Zen through iTunes, I would very much appreciate it if you would take a moment to let me know what you think about it by rating or reviewing the podcast, so that new listeners can also hear what you have to say. Thank you for your time and for your support.